again.
Nice to see you again. It's been a long time.
Nice to see you. How's everything?
Great. It's nice to be back here. I've been working in Atlanta, Georgia as an attending physician for a while since I left Methodist.
Right.
Yeah. But I've decided in the last couple of weeks to go back to Nigeria.
Oh, that's good.
Things just don't walk back home. You know, I had a terrible experience about 6 weeks ago when I was in Nigeria. You know, my brother picked me up from the airport and was driving me home. And we saw an accident. You know, a car ran into a tree and asked my brother to stop. So we went to the accident scene and, you know, the villagers came out and were bringing the victims out of the cars. And we laid them on the floor. There were women, children, and men. And they had multiple fractures, bilateral, femur, humerus. People were bleeding from the nose and the head. And I tried to do a little bit of first aid. Then I asked them to call the police. You know, I started making phone calls and there was no response. Something called the Federal Road Safety Corps. You know, and incidentally, about 15 minutes before the accident, we saw about 25 of them on the road. They had a checkpoint. So we're like, someone should call them.
Right.
So one of the villagers called and spoke with a couple of people in the office, and he was told the only car they had gone to the federal capital in Abuja. So we had no choice but to take the patients to the hospital. So I asked them, we started with the children, put them in my brother's car, and we started taking them to the hospital. We did about 4 trips. So then my shirt was all bloody, soaked in blood. And I'd go into the hospital and there's no emergency room. There's no concept of emergency service. There were no stretchers to even take the patients to the hospital. You know, we had to carry them in our hands. Then on getting into the hospital, there's no sense of emergency. There's no urgency to it, and these were people dying. You know, I practically had to start running the hospital. I was there for about 4 hours. You know, the apathy, people just didn't care about people who were dying. And that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, I remember walking here, and even if you have a homeless patient who has an accident, the patient, if the patient needs to be flown by helicopter to the nearest trauma center, they're going to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll treat them the same way we'll treat the President of America or the governor of New York City. And here I am going back home after working all these years in America, taking care of sick people, and I see my people dying and no sense of compassion, nobody cares. And you talk to the doctors in the hospital and the nurses in charge, and they tell you they don't get any funding from the government. The hospital we took these accident victims to was a Catholic hospital called St. Vincent's Hospital in Alede. And what the doctor and the nurse there was telling me is the only funding they get is from the Catholic mission. And it's meant to be a referral hospital. So most of the other government hospitals and the local governments around send patients there. And here's the hospital where there are no drugs. There's no oxygen to give to the dying patients. You know, and I just felt like crying. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we can make this happen in Nigeria.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, there's no reason why all of the hundreds and thousands of doctors who are Nigerian born, who are in the US, in the UK,
can go back and contribute.
Can go back and contribute. You know, so I've made it a mission, you know, to go back home, to talk to all of my friends who care about their country, for us to go back and try to make a difference. That the way we run hospitals in New York, Nigerian doctors run hospitals in New York.
So we can do it back home.
In Las Vegas, in Chicago, in Atlanta, in LA, so we can do the same thing back home.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, there's no reason why things shouldn't work.
Right.
You know, so I'm glad that you guys are willing to volunteer time.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely takes time, dedication. You know, it has to be in the heart. It definitely has to be something you want to do. It has to be in your heart to do it. And when I first started nursing school, I knew that taking care of patients is something that I wanted to do. And I knew that I wanted to do it not just for myself, you know, that it wasn't about money. I knew I care about people. I knew I love to help one individual. So that's something definitely you're going to need in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know, because you
People
want
who
to
are
provide
sympathetic
that.
to the patients.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to provide that care to your patient, quality care.
Yeah.
To
people who aren't just doing it for the money, who really care about the patients, who really
Right.
want to make a difference in the country, you know.
And I guess the need for compassion, you know, to have value for human life, irrespective of whether you're rich or you're poor, young or old, we're all children of God.
Yes, definitely.
You know, and I think the gift of being a doctor or a nurse is not to make money, but to give life. And that should be the role of the government also. You know, and there's no reason, we have no excuse to let people die every day in Nigeria when we can save lives.
So I'm wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
You know,
Best
God
of
bless
luck.
you.
Yeah,
I'm really
beautiful
excited
mission,
about when I first heard about it, you were running, and you wanted to provide something in a hospital there in Nigeria. I think that's a wonderful thing to do.
All right.
So you definitely have our support.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely.
Appreciate it.
Take care and good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Ada Obekpa.
Mr. Simon, how are you?
Yeah. I trained as a resident in New York Methodist Hospital 2003 to 2006. So I worked here for 3 years as a doctor, and I've recently decided to go back home, Nigeria, you know, and give something back to my people. And we're doing a shoot here to show that a hospital like New York Methodist Hospital can be in Nigeria and to help other people, and healthcare can work like this the way it is in America, back home. I used to run floors in this hospital. I used to be the one in charge.
Great.
And there are lots of Nigerian doctors who still work here. You know, they are great, dedicated nurses and doctors, you know, who care about people. And being a doctor is about compassion. You know, it's about treating both the rich and the poor. And there's no reason why people should be dying in Nigeria and in Africa the way they do. You know, we should, as a people, have a sense of compassion.
Stay together in unity.
Yeah, and try to get together to see what we can do to lift everyone up. You know, to make Africa walk the way America walks.
Help each
You
other.
know, and I'm calling on, you know, people like you, who are children of God and who care about suffering people, you know, to come walk with us, to show that Africa can be like America. You know, the difference is visionary leadership, people who fear God and who have compassion. You know,
You should get involved more.
and get involved more. So,
And you're an inspiration, I see.
yeah. What's your name?
Mr. Sutton.
Segment. Oh, okay. And you say you're getting involved in politics also?
Because my father passed away, so I'm going to finish what he started.
Okay. And your dad was in politics?
Yeah, I've been in politics for many years with him. He's been there since '07 before he passed away. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And that is city politics? So?
Yeah, he was assemblyman, city council, and surrogate judge before he passed away. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's great. So I guess we can work together.
Yes, please, it'd be
You
a great
know,
honor.
we
It'll definitely be a great honor with you to help you.
have the same vision of, you know, serving
definitely
people,
will talk.
and well, we will talk.
Their motto is to serve and to protect. The police here are friends of ordinary citizens. They work to protect citizens. They don't stop you, they don't ask for bribe. They don't intimidate people. If you're lost, you can walk up to the policeman and ask him for help. We can create a police force like this back home in Nigeria.